Lenny Burton sat on his couch, tears falling onto the papers that officially announced the end of his marriage. He never wanted a divorce, but his ex-wife still filed for divorce, saying that she was leaving for a man with a lot of money. He remembered that day as if it were yesterday. He worked 10 12-hour days completing a project for his boss that, if successful, would have secured a deal for the company worth nearly $500 million. This would mean a significant raise for him, as well as a nice bonus. The project was completed, and he went home with high hopes and a desire to make love to Ginny, his wife of 3 years. However, as he drove up to his house, he saw an unfamiliar car in the driveway. He had a bad feeling, but thought it might be one of her work friends who sometimes came to visit. But when he entered the house, his hopes were dashed. There, sitting on the couch, was Ginny, holding a man's hand. Not just any man, but her boss, Ruddy James. Ruddy looked at him with a smirk that said, "I just slept with your wife." Next to the sofa were 2 suitcases and a travel bag. Ginny, wearing a very short skirt and high heels, looked at Lenny with sad eyes. "Sorry, Len," she said, "but I'm leaving with Ruddy." "What do you mean, leaving?" asked Lenny. "Well, actually, I'm leaving you for Rudy," she said. "Sorry, but he's richer and better than you in bed, and I just, well, kind of fell in love with him. That's why I'm leaving you, because I don't want to cheat on you anymore behind your back." "What?" Lenny shouted. "How long have you two been sleeping together?" "I don't know," Ginny said. "Maybe a couple of months. You've been working so hard lately that I thought you didn't love me anymore. So Ruddy started taking me out, and we do it about 3 times a week." "3 times a week?" Lenny asked, shocked. "Hell, you haven't even been with me that many times in the last month. You're a fucking bitch." "Hey, watch your language," Rudy said, puffing out his chest. Lenny was beside himself with rage and went to his office. Opening the weapons cabinet, he took out a gun and checked that it was unloaded. He wanted to scare the 2 traitors, not kill them. He returned to the living room and pointed the gun at Rudy's face. They both looked shocked. "Get the hell out of my house," Lenny said, "before I smear your brains all over the wall. You want that cheating bitch, you can have her. But you won't disrespect me in my house. Now, get out." Ruddy stood up from the couch, scared, and looked at Ginny. "See you at the apartment," he said. "Are you going to be okay?" Ginny nodded. "Get out, you bastard," Lenny shouted. Ruddy ran out of the house and slammed the door. Lenny waited until he heard Ruddy drive away before turning to his soon-to-be ex-wife. "As for you, bitch," he said, "you understand that I worked overtime for us. I thought we were going to start a family. This is what I worked for, and this is how you pay me. Go to hell." "Lenny, I'm sorry," she cried. "I really didn't mean to offend you. Please do not kill me." "Bullshit, bitch," Lenny said. He put down the gun. "Besides, it's pretty hard to kill someone with an unloaded gun," he said. He grabbed her hand and removed the rings from her. As she watched, he reached into her wallet and pulled out her bank card, a joint credit card with her name on it and her house key. He tossed her the wallet, noticing that it contained a wad of cash. Taking off his ring, he threw it at her. "Now, get out." "Lenny, what are you doing?" she asked. "You want to leave, so leave. And I never want to see your cheating, lying ass again," he said. She slowly got up from the couch and picked up her wallet. "Will you at least help me with my luggage?" she asked. "You have a lot of nerve, bitch," he said. "Not just no, but hell no. Take your things and get the hell out." Ginny picked up her bags and walked with difficulty to the garage door. Lenny walked to her car and took the garage door remote, pressing the button to open it. She loaded her bags, got into the car, and drove away. He closed the door and watched her drive away. Lenny walked over to his computer and logged into his bank account. He noticed that she had already taken half of everything. Bitch, he paid off the joint credit card and closed it, then transferred all but $5 to another account he had already set up in his name, thanks to internet banking. A few minutes later, he heard a knock on the door. Opening it, he saw a man in a jacket with a manila envelope. "Are you Lenny Burton?" asked the man. "Yes, what do you want?" Lenny asked in response. The man handed him an envelope. "You have been handed it," he said and left. Lenny opened the envelope and found a set of divorce papers inside. Apparently, Ginny had already started the process. He read the documents and learned that she had filed a claim on the grounds of psychological abuse and was asking for 85% of the joint assets, as well as a significant amount of alimony. Go to hell, he thought. He began looking for a lawyer and, seeing that it was too late, made a list of possible lawyers who could represent him. Shocked, angry, and hurt, he sat back on the couch and cried. He couldn't believe this was happening to him. He thought he had found his soulmate in Ginny. He thought they were fine, and she gave no indication that anything was wrong. The thing is, she wasn't the first to do this to him. He remembered his life. He dated several girls in high school and fell in love with a couple of girls in college. All of them, however, ended up breaking his heart by leaving him for another guy. After college, he met and began dating another girl and even bought a ring in preparation for proposing to her. But the day before he was going to do it, he saw her hugging another guy. He confronted her, and she said she fell in love with this guy. It took a few months, but he finally met Ginny and started dating her. 6 months later, he proposed to her, and she accepted. But even this has now turned into a disaster. In the old days, he could turn to his cousin Randy, who always knew how to cheer him up by telling him that not all women cheat, and that there were still many fish in the sea. She always made him feel better, but now she was out of town, away after her own messy divorce from her cheating, abusive, bastard husband. So he did the next best thing. He got drunk. He didn't care since he didn't have to go to work the next day. When he woke up, he went through his morning rituals and then started calling lawyers. It took a while, and he went through 4 lawyers, but he finally found one who wasn't a man-hating bitch only interested in billable hours. After months of arguing and threats, his lawyer managed to get Ginny to drop the allegations of psychological abuse and agree to a divorce by mutual consent. She also agreed to accept what she had already taken from their bank account and to drop the demand for alimony since she earned the same as him and lived with her wealthy lover. This was made possible by a private investigator who captured clear photographs and videos of her cheating on her lover in various locations. She quickly gave in when confronted with graphic evidence of her infidelity and a warning that the photos and videos could easily be sent to her family and friends and possibly end up online. He thought about getting revenge on the bastard she slept with, but decided that a life with Ginny would be enough for him to get revenge. So now it is all over. He should have been happy, but he wasn't. Instead, he felt empty. He was sad, lonely, depressed, and worst of all, he wanted sex. Then Randy called him. "Hello, cousin," he said, answering the phone. "How are you?" "I'm in town and would like to meet," she said. "Yes, of course," said Lenny. "Do you want to come over and get drunk with me or what?" "Well, if you're going to get drunk, I'll come," she said. What would Ginny say? "I don't care what Ginny thinks," he said. "She filed for divorce anyway." "Oh no," Randy said. "Sorry, I didn't know. What happened?" "Everything is as usual," he said. "I came home from work and found her with her lover. She simply announced that she was leaving for him, and then handed me the divorce papers." "Oh God," she said, "it's horrible." "Yes," said Lenny. "The divorce just became final." "Well, then I'll come right away," she said. Half an hour later, the doorbell rang. Lenny opened the door and saw the smiling face of his cousin Randy. He hugged her and invited her in. He couldn't help but watch as she walked into the house, wearing a thin t-shirt with no bra and tight, ripped jean shorts. If she weren't his cousin, he would have made a move on her himself. He grabbed a beer for each of them, and they sat in the living room to chat. They weren't just cousins, they were the closest of friends. They always shared their deepest secrets and often consoled each other after breakups. "So, what happened to you after the divorce?" Lenny asked as he told her his story. "Well, I met and married the man of my dreams," she said, showing him her rings. "Wow," Lenny said. "Congratulations. Where did you meet Mr. Perfect?" "It's a long story," she said. Maybe they can help you too. Okay, Lenny said. What, is this some kind of dating site? No, she said. I really can't explain it, and I had to sign a confidentiality agreement, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. But I know that they are very selective in choosing their clients, and they guarantee that you will be satisfied. I'm definitely satisfied. How about I call them and see what they say? Maybe they'll take you. Sure, that would be great, Lenny said. How much does it cost? I mean, it must be pretty expensive. It's part of the confidentiality agreement, Randy said. But I think you will find it more than reasonable. I definitely found it. Okay, he said. I trust you. By the way, how long will you be in town? Oh, just a couple of days, she said. I'm here on company business, but I can spend the rest of the time with you if you want. Do you think you can handle it? Of course, he said. You know that you are always a welcome guest here, and it's much cheaper than a hotel room. She smiled. Okay, she said. Then I'll stay here and keep you company. So tell me about your new man, Lenny said. Well, he reminds me a lot of you, she said. Is it true? Asked Lenny. Yes, Randy said. He's a technician like you, and he has the same sense of humor. Do you have a photo of him? Asked Lenny. Of course, she said, taking out her phone. She scrolled through her photos and showed him a photo of herself with her new husband. She looked at the photo, then at her cousin. Oh God, she said. I've never noticed this before. Look at it. She showed the photo to Lenny. He was shocked. The man in the photo looked a lot like him, only with a slightly different hairstyle. Wow, Lenny said. You don't have a twin brother that I don't know about? She asked. No, I'm an only child, said Lenny. You know that. That's weird, she said, shaking her head. Well, you're happy with him, right? Asked Lenny. She smiled. Of course, she said. Happier than I've ever been in my life. Lenny shrugged. Then I'm happy for you. Enjoy, he said. She smiled. I will, she said. Now get your cards out so I can hit you in spades. He smiled and took out a deck of cards. They played cards and reminisced until late at night, leaving all talk about her new husband for later. Randy finished her business and left 2 days later, hugging her cousin before leaving. Remember, keep an eye on your phone and be sure to answer calls from LW. And remember, if they leave a message, call back as soon as possible, she said before leaving. Okay, thanks, Lenny said. He watched her drive away and walked back to the empty house. He couldn't believe how much he missed his cousin. He thought about her the rest of the day and felt lonelier than when his cheating wife left. It was Friday at lunch when Lenny received a call on his cell phone. Looking at the screen, he saw that the call was coming from LW. He remembered what Randy said and answered the call. Hello, he said. Is this Lenny Burton? Asked the man. Yes, said Lenny. And who is it? Lenny, my name is Larry Wilder, the man said. I spoke to your cousin a couple of days ago and was wondering if you were free any time soon. Of course, said Lenny. When would you like to meet? How about today? Larry said. Say 5:30 p.m. Larry gave Lenny the address of an office not far from where he worked. Okay, said Lenny. I finish at 5:00 p.m., so I can be there by 5:30 p.m. Great, said Larry. I'll be glad to meet you. The conversation ended, and Lenny spent the rest of the day looking at his watch. At 17 he finished work and headed to the specified address. He drove up to an office building and walked up to a door that had LW written on it. He opened the door, and the beautiful blonde receptionist smiled and led him into a small conference room. Mr. Billowers Wilder will be here soon, she said. Lenny thanked her and sat down on one of the 2 chairs in the room. A minute later, the door opened and an older man in a white medical coat entered the room. He smiled and extended his hand to Lenny, who stood up as the door opened. Mr. Burton, he said, nice to meet you. Please sit down. Let me explain what we're doing here. I know you talked to your cousin. She referred you to us, and I have to admit, I'm surprised at how much you resemble her new husband. Me too, said Lenny. Do you have any idea why? Well, maybe it'll be clearer by the time we're done, Larry said. You might think we're just another company that connects people, like a dating site. In fact, we are much more than that. We guarantee you will find your perfect match. What do you have in mind? Asked Lenny. Are you familiar with the biblical story of Adam and Eve? Larry asked. A little, said Lenny. As I remember, they ran around naked in the Garden of Eden until she ate the apple, and then God kicked them out. Well, there's a lot more to it, and it wasn't an apple, but you're partly right, Larry said. Remember how Eve appeared? Lenny shook his head. His parents took him to Sunday school when he was younger, but he hadn't been to church in years. No, I don't remember, said Lenny, confused. It's okay, Larry said. A lot of people don't remember this part of the story. According to the story, God was not pleased that Adam was alone, without someone to share the garden with, so he put Adam to sleep and removed the rib. God then closed the wound and created Eve from the rib. He brought Eve to Adam, who, according to history, said, "This now is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, for she was taken from man." Because of this, history says, men leave their parents and unite with a woman to become one. It is true that Eve was seduced, and she in turn seduced her husband. They were kicked out of the garden, but remained together for the rest of their lives, which was a very long one, Larry said. And what does this have to do with me? Asked Lenny. That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it, Larry said. Simply put, Eve was, for lack of a better explanation, created from Adam's DNA. There's a lot more to it, but we don't have time to get into the science. What we're doing here is something like this. No, we won't remove the edge or anything like that, that's not necessary. But we use your genetic information to find you the perfect partner. Can you do it? Asked Lenny. The man smiled. Oh yes, he said, and I guarantee you will be more than satisfied with the results. So how much does it cost, and when can we start? Asked Lenny. Well, said Larry, we're not billing you, and we don't want any money. We have everything we need, but we ask that when the time comes, you recommend someone to us, and we will need you to sign a comprehensive agreement that sets out the terms. As for time, we can start right now if you want. We have already done our preliminary research and have determined that you are a prime candidate for our services and know that you have over 150 days of accrued sick leave, so you can take the time you need. We don't do this for just anyone, you know. How much time will I need to take? Asked Lenny. I didn't know I would have to miss work. It's okay, Larry said. We prefer our clients to take a full week to ensure everything goes smoothly. Some of our clients sometimes need this time to recover and adapt. Since you are young enough and in good shape, this should not be a problem. We have already received approval for your leave, but if you do not want to complete the procedure, just say the word, and we will release you from any obligations. Have you received approval yet? Asked Lenny. Yes, said Larry. Your boss, John Smith, said he has been concerned about your condition lately. Your numbers had dropped a bit, and you seemed distracted. He knows you've been under a lot of stress because of the divorce, and he hopes we can help. If you want, I can call him and let him tell you this himself. Please do it, Lenny said. That makes sense, Larry said, dialing a number on his phone. Lenny heard his boss answer a couple of times later. Mr. Chur Smith, hello, this is Larry Wilder. I'm consulting with Lenny Burton right now, and he'd like to confirm that you have approved his leave. Lenny heard his boss say something. Then Larry handed him the phone. John, hi, it's Lenny, he said. Lenny, look, I should have told you earlier, I'm sorry, John said. Listen, I know what you're going through, and Mr. Wilder said he can help. So I approved your vacation. You're a good employee, and I hate losing you for a while, but I'm willing to let you take time off if it helps. Take care of yourself, okay? Okay, boss, thanks, Lenny said. See you in a week or so. See you then, John said. Bye. Lenny looked at Larry. Well, let's get started, he said. Larry smiled. Great, he said. Let's get you registered and get started. Larry took Lenny to the reception area where he was checked in and given a non-disclosure form to read and sign. After completing the paperwork, he was taken to another room, where he undressed and put on a hospital gown. Larry then took him to another room where the nurses collected the samples. He then underwent a series of tests to determine his overall physical condition. He was taken to his room and settled on a bed that was larger than a normal hospital bed. After the nurses finished, Larry came in and sat next to him. The technician entered the room, wheeling a cart with many wires and displays. "Lenny, we'll do some psychological tests, nothing invasive. We just need to get more information. Relax and the machine will do everything itself," he said. Lenny relaxed, and the technician began connecting wires to various parts of his body. He finished by placing something on Lenny's head that covered his ears and eyes. "Okay, Lenny, just relax," Larry said. Lenny heard him through the headphones in his helmet. "You'll feel a little sleepy. This is fine. Just relax and breathe normally." Lenny fell asleep and suddenly woke up when the technician took off his helmet. He blinked and Larry scribbled notes in his notebook. "How do you feel?" asked Larry. "Seems fine," Lenny said. "What was it?" "The patented equipment we use for hypnotherapy," Larry said. "It helps us get important information about you, your likes, dislikes, and so on. This is important to ensure a successful match. There's one more thing we need to do." "What is this?" asked Lenny. "We will install monitoring equipment to your sleep states at night. I want you to focus and think about what your ideal partner would be," Larry said. "Don't tense up. Let it come naturally. We'll give you something to help you relax and fall asleep." The technician began placing electrodes on Lenny's head when the nurse came in with a cart. After the technician finished, the nurse injected something into his Roman 4 and Lenny began to fall asleep. "Just relax, Lenny," Larry said. "Think about what your ideal partner would be like. We'll take care of the rest." "That's it," he said as Lenny began to fall asleep. "Good night, see you in the morning," he added with a smile. The next day, Lenny woke up feeling refreshed. He had several dreams, but could not remember any of them. He remembered some of them being explicitly sexual, but he couldn't remember the details. Larry walked in as he was finishing breakfast. "How are you feeling this morning?" he asked, looking at Lenny's readings. "I feel really refreshed," Lenny said. "Okay," said Larry. "I see you had several dreams last night. Do you remember any of them?" "Only fragments," said Lenny. "I know some of them were a little sexual, but I can't remember the details." "That's normal," Larry said, looking at the car's logs. "We'll clean this up and let you rest. We'll run some more tests later this morning and schedule a consultation." Around noon, Lenny was taken to a darkened room with a chair in the middle. They sat him in a chair and attached electrodes to his body. When he sat down, Larry explained what was happening. "We're going to test your skin response to different stimuli," he said. "Photos will flash before your eyes at fast speed. Don't try to concentrate on the photographs. They will flash by too quickly for you to fully comprehend them. The equipment will record your reaction. Now just relax." The technician placed a helmet on Lenny's head with darkened lenses. Soon a series of photographs began. As Larry promised, they flashed by too quickly for him to fully comprehend them. He thought he saw some pictures of flowers and his cousin, but he couldn't be sure. Half an hour later, the light came back on and the helmet was removed. "Okay," said Larry. "I think we have enough data to complete the task. It's time for you to meet with your advisor. This will help you deal with the problems that have arisen as a result of the divorce." "What problems?" Lenny asked. "Well, the way your ex-wife left you no doubt raised questions in you, at least in your mind, about your adequacy as a man," Larry explained. "I'm not a psychologist, but I can understand the feelings of rejection that you have to struggle with. I think it would be wise to address some of these issues before starting a new relationship. Don't you agree?" Lenny agreed and was taken to another office where he met his consultant, an attractive brunette who greeted him with a wide smile. They spent several hours discussing Lenny's past, the numerous rejections he had experienced from the women he thought he loved, and the final, crushing way in which his wife had left him. The consultant was kind and understanding, but persistent. She helped him deal with the rejection he had experienced from other women in his life and gave him mental exercises to help him prepare for the future. And she explained, his new companion would help him fully heal and move forward. That night, he practiced some of these exercises and slept like a baby, waking up feeling better than he had in a long time. After breakfast, Larry came and looked at his notes. "I'm very pleased with your progress," he said. "Are you ready to meet your soulmate?" "Seriously? Already?" asked Lenny. Larry smiled and nodded. "Yes," said Larry. "It was actually pretty easy." He opened the door and a hooded woman entered the room. Larry walked her to Lenny's bed and removed the hood from her head. Lenny gasped when he saw the woman. She was great. Wavy dark hair framed a face that reminded him of Randy, but her lips were a little fuller than his cousin's. She looked at him with her brown eyes and smiled. "Lenny, meet Raina," Larry said. "I'll give you time to get to know each other," he added, closing the door on his way out. Lenny felt a small spark as Raina took his head in her hands. She looked into his eyes and kissed him right on the lips. Until now, he had never believed in love at first sight. But there was something about this girl that captured his soul. "So much pain, so many hurts," she said quietly, pressing his head to her. He hugged her and cried. It was something he simply couldn't control. "Let me heal your soul," she whispered in his ear as he held on to her. Then she stepped back and took off her robe. Lenny gasped again when he saw her beauty. They were kissing when they heard a knock on the door. "Come in," said Lenny. The door opened and Larry looked out the door. He entered the room with 2 technicians and a nurse. They all smiled when they saw the lovers. "I see you have already met," said Larry. "Fine. We need to do some follow-up tests to make sure everything is okay." "I'll be back soon," she said. "I love you." "I love you too," he replied. She smiled and left the room with the 2 technicians. Larry sat next to the bed as the nurse took blood samples and recorded his vital signs. After the nurse left, Larry turned to Lenny. "How do you feel?" Larry asked. "I'm delighted," Lenny said. "Is she real?" Larry smiled and nodded. "Absolutely," he said. 100%. "Where did you find her?" asked Lenny. "Actually, it's always been a part of you," Larry said. "You just didn't know it." "I don't understand," said Lenny. "I know," said Larry. "Just trust me, she's real and she's all yours. If, of course, you want it." "Oh, I want her," said Lenny. "More than anything else. I have never felt more in love with someone in my entire life. I cannot explain it." "That's good," said Larry. "And maybe it's good that you can't fully explain it. I have 1 or 2 more questions for you." "Which?" asked Lenny. "How close are you to your cousin Randy?" asked Larry. "Well, we've always been very close," Lenny said. "She was always there for me." "Have you ever been intimate?" Larry asked. Lenny shook his head. "Oh, no," he said. "Okay," said Larry. "I was just curious. So, do you think you can spend the rest of your life with Raina?" "Absolutely," said Lenny. "Great," said Larry. "Remember, she is a very real person with her own personality and her own needs. But I promise that if you give her the love, respect, and dignity she deserves, she will be with you for the rest of her life. Be faithful to her, and she will remain faithful to you. Is this what you want?" Lenny nodded. "More than anything," he said. Larry smiled. "Great," he said. "Get some rest, and I'll see you in the morning." The next day, Lenny woke up from dreams about rain. Larry entered the room with a notepad. "Good morning, Lenny," he said. "How did you sleep last night?" "Better than I've been in a long time," Lenny said. "Great," said Larry. "Today is your big day. All your tests came back good, just like Raina's. Last question." "Which?" asked Lenny. "Would you like to marry Rianne?" "Yes, I would," said Lenny. Larry smiled. "Wonderful," he said. "When would you like to marry her?" "I'd marry her right now if she wants," Lenny said. "Well, let's see what she has to say," Larry said, walking towards the door. Opening it, he led Raina into the room. She ran to Lenny, smiling, and hugged him. Larry looked at Lenny. "Well, ask her." Lenny looked into Raina's smiling face. "Raina, will you marry me?" asked Lenny. Raina smiled widely and kissed Lenny. "Oh yes," she said. A few days later, they exchanged vows in a room set up like a chapel. Normally, Lenny would have worried that everything was happening too quickly, but with Raina, he felt like everything was right. "Do you accept this man as your lawful husband?" the priest asked Raina. She looked at Lenny with love in her eyes. "Oh yes, for life," she said. "Then I pronounce you husband and wife," said the priest. "You can kiss your bride," he said, looking at Lenny. Lenny kissed his new wife, feeling happier than he had ever felt in his life. "Take me home, my husband," she said. "Make love to me, please." Larry stood at the door as Lenny and Raina walked out of the makeshift chapel. "Congratulations. And remember," Larry said, handing Lenny the card, "LW means satisfaction guaranteed." Subscribe to our channel so that your love doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think click to the next one. Click to the next one.